गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Repeat after me. Ramaya Ramabhadraya रामचंद्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताया पतये नमः सीताया पतये नमः सीताया पतये नमः. So what we have seen till now is that Ramchandra ji has, before Ramchandra ji asked Sugriv to challenge his brother Bali, who was not righteous, who was not good man. Why? Because he has taken away Sugriva's wife, he has taken away Sugriva's kingdom and banished him from the kingdom. And therefore Sugriv is living on the mountain and where he met Ramchandra ji, and Ramchandra ji then takes a vow, takes a promise, gives a promise to to Sugriv, that you go and challenge Bali and I will kill him and help you in that, and then you will become the king of Kishkinda. And Bali went, challenged. We have already seen this. I'm just recapping that part. And he came, Bali came, and he thrashed Sugriv left, right, and center. His whole body was aching, blood was coming out of his nose, blood was coming out of his mouth, and he ran away from there back to Kishkinda mountain and came to Ram. Ramchandra ji was so sad to see his friend bleeding from everywhere and totally no energy left. And at that time he said, "Oh Sri Ram, are you here on my side or are you on the side of Vali? Because I'm the one who's getting thrashed. I'm the one. If I had not run away, I would have got killed." And immediately Ramchandra said that, "Listen, Sugriv, you and your brother, you both look very similar. Your build is similar, your face is similar, your tail is similar, your clothes are similar, and I'm not able to make out the difference. So, and that is why my hesitation in killing Vali in this round. Now, you take this mala," and he took the one mala and put it around the neck of Sugriv. Immediately Sugriv became very healthy again because Ramchandra ji's mala. All health came back. And again he went with renewed vigor because this time he knows that I have the garland and Bali has got no garland. So Ramchandra ji is sure to shoot the arrow at Bali. And with extreme confidence he went and called Bali, "You coward, you thrashed me once, but this time I'll thrash you, come out." And when he was coming out, his wife Tara, she said, "The Sugriva is sounding very, very confident. I think he is having some help, and I've heard that Sri Ram has come to the Rishimukh mountain, and I heard from the spies that he has promised to make Sugriva the king of Kishkinda. So I think you should go and surrender at the feet of Sri Ram, and without fight, you make Sugriva the king, and after that we will see how it goes. He says, yes, what you are saying is correct. If Sri Ram, I know Sri Ram is none other than Sri Narayana, Lord Narayana, and if he is there, if I see him, I will fall at his feet straight away. But at the same time, I have to go out because my brother has challenged, and a king's job is, if any challenge comes, he has to take that challenge, and yeah, so I have to go. And when he goes out, he sees only Sugriv, he doesn't see Sri Ram. So he is fighting, and as they are fighting, eventually, seeing a moment of opportunity, Ramchandraji from behind the tree, he shot the arrow into the heart of Bali. Why did he shoot the arrow from behind the tree? Because the Bali had a boon. Bali's boon was that anyone who comes in front of him, his 50% of his power will come to him. So if Ramchandraji came in front of him, 50% of Ramchandraji's power will go to. Aajao, baitho, sit down. There's a chair there. There's a chair there. So Ramchandraji's 50% energy power will go to Bali, and then it will become again very difficult. So this is not a fair fight. Even with Sugriv and Bali, that is not a fair fight. So he had to be killed. First thing. Second reason he had to be killed was because Sugriv was righteous and Bali was unrighteous. He was not following Dharma. Third, just like Ramchandraji's wife was kidnapped by Ravana, Sugriv's wife has been kidnapped by Vali. So now Vali and Sugriv both are friends because both wives have been taken away by someone. So these three reasons were there. And then when he got hit by the arrow, naturally he fell down, and because he was so powerful, for some time he was unconscious, and when he opened his eyes, he saw the Lord Sri Ram wearing his bark clothes and having his bow, which is it's a big bow, resting on the ground, and smiling at him, looking at him with the hair tied over his head with the Rudraksh around it, and a beautiful countenance. He looked, and immediately while looking at him, he saw Lord Narayana, and he made the prayer to Lord Narayana. He says, I know you are the Supreme Purusha, O Sri Ram, and you are the, and having recognized and sung the praises of Sri Ram, he said, Mama tulya bale bale angade tvam dayam kuru. And he knows his life is about to end, and before he ends his life, again the smart thinking, he says that before my angam galite, before my body goes away, please give me a promise that my son Angad, you will be his father, you will undertake his care and everything, because he was afraid if he dies and Sugriv becomes the king, he might mistreat his son Angad, he might get him killed, he might get him jailed, etc., because he was doing all that to Sugriv. He feels that everyone will be like him. So he makes sure that Ramchandraji is the caretaker, guardian of his son Angad, who was only young fellow at that time, 16, 17 years old. And having said this, he says here, Vishalyam kuru me Rama hridayam paninam sprushan tatheti bana mudhrutya Rama pasparsha banina tyaktva tadvanaram deham amarendro bhavakshanat. O Sri Ram, please touch my heart with your lotus like hands and remove the arrow which is in my heart, which has pierced my heart. I want you to take it out. and that is embedded in my heart, and then saying Tathastu Shri Ram Tatheti Banam Udhrutya Rama Pasparsha Panina, and with his hands he went immediately to his chest and pulled out the embedded arrow, and at that very moment, looking at the beautiful face of Sri Ram, because to take out the arrow, Ramchandra ji has to bend down, he is looking at him, and hand is here on the chest, and Bali's eyes are locked on to the face of Sri Ram, and looking at Sri Ram, the moment arrow comes out, Bali leaves his body. So he makes sure that not only Angad, he also asks for taking care of his wife also. And then Ramchandra ji gives both of them to Sugriv to take care, and then it is taken. And we told you also, Sugriv was the son of whom? You know? Sugriv was the son of whom, and Bali was the son of whom? Bali was the son of Indra, the god of heaven, and Sugriv was the son of Surya Dev, the Lord's son, who is in the sky, his son. And in this way, Vali Raghuttama Sharabihato Vimrushto Ramena Shitala Karena Sukha Karena Sadhyo Vimuchya Kapideham Ananya Labhyam Praptam Param Paramahamsa Ganair. And once Bali has left his body of the monkey and gone back to the Indralok, because he came, he's a part of Lord Indra. Lord Shiva said to Parvati, Bali was killed by the arrow of the most exalted, great, revered Sri Raghu, who is none other than Sri Ram, and he also got the hands of Sri Ram to soothe him, to comfort him, and the soothing, whoever Ram touches, he has to be healed completely. All negativity has to vanish from him completely. And that Sri Ram touched the chest of Bali to remove the arrow. That touch is like salvation, because it purified him completely of all his misdeeds and whatever he had done, and hence the Bali has left his mortal coil of the monkey and attained the great state. And what is that state? He has gone to the Ram Lok. What is the Ramalok? Which loka? Like Shiva comes from Kailash, Narayana comes from Vaikuntha, Ram comes from Saket. His place is called Saket, and he goes to Saket. What more? The supreme stature is very great. The final emancipation or merging into God is very difficult for common beings, even for rishis. And here, even though he had so many shortcomings within him, he was able to attain that great state of realized masters because of the touch of Sri Ram, and thus he became a Paramhams. And Paramahamsa means, yesterday we went to France, and just before catching the flight, 1 hour we slept on the banks of a lake near the airport. And when we went there, suddenly we saw 2 swans, Hamsa ka joda. So who is a Hamsa? What is the quality of a swan? It is said, not every swan, but those divine swans which we see in Mansarovar Lake, the quality is that the swan is able to, if you give it milk mixed with water, it will drink milk and it will leave the water. So a human being who is able to, while living in this world, is able to attain the reality, attain the Lord, attain the union with the Lord, in spite of living in this world. Such a person is called as Paramahams, because He has learned how to discriminate between what is constant, what is continuous, what is the substratum, and what is changing. What is changing? World is changing, body is changing, breath is changing, mind is changing, thoughts are changing, waking dream and deep sleep are changing, time is changing, all this is changing, and we think we are that. Stupidity. Then what are we? We are the one who knows everything that is changing. So he who keeps thinking of the changeless principle and doesn't get affected, reacts, doesn't get entangled in the changing, such a person is called as Paramahams. And he got to that state. And in this way, continuing, now we come into the third chapter of the Kishkinda Kand, and now Tara comes. Tara is the wife of Bali, and she comes and cries. And after that, after Ramchandraji gives her consolation, then Sugriv is made the king of Kishkinda. The story is going on. It's called Adhyatma Ramayana, and Mahadev, Lord Shiva, is telling the story to Parvati. And why is he telling the story to Parvati? Because again, new crowd, so I have to tell you why it is there. Because Parvati got married to Shiva, you know that. After she got married, Lord Shiva came to Kailash after some, this is this is that, these are our ganas, everything, and he says, okay, now I am going into meditation, and he sat for meditation, not for 1 hour, not for 2 hours, not for 1 year, not for 10 years, for thousands of years he is sitting, and Parvati is waiting. And eventually, after a long period of time, Parvati, she is also thinking, what is he thinking about? What is he meditating upon? He just got married to me. Is he not attracted to me? Am I not beautiful enough for to receive his attention? Every wife will think that way. Or husband will also think, am I not handsome enough? If the wife comes and says, okay, I'm going into meditation. Bye, see you. फिर क्या करेंगे? So when Lord Shiva opened his eyes, Parvati Mata, she said, oh my dear, he said, yes. What is so interesting and captivating than me, because she's the most beautiful person in the whole universe. Then me, she doesn't even say me. I am adding for spices. So she says, what is that which is so beautiful and captivating that you are not interested in your newly married wife, and you are, for so many thousands of years, you are meditating on him? I will also like to know about that, so that I can also meditate and contemplate upon that. Then Lord Shiva is very pleased, because this question didn't come out of jealousy. This question didn't come out of vanity. This question didn't come out of lack of confidence. She is genuinely asking, what are you meditating on? I will also like to meditate. So he called her, made her sit on his lap, and then he's telling this whole Adhyatma Ramayana, that it is Sri Ram. Who is this Sri Ram? He is the soul of every being. He is my soul. I am not separate to him. Oh, how does he look? Who is this Sri Ram? How do I get in touch with him and contact him? How do I meditate upon him? So then Shivji says that I will have to tell you his story. And then he starts the Adhyatma Ramayana, that this is Dasharat Nandan Sri Ram, and the whole story has been there told. Now we are in the middle of the story somewhere, and here now Sri Mahadeva Uvacha, you don't want to say, निहते वालिनी रणे रामेण परमात्मना दुद्रुवुर्ना वानरा सर्वे किष्किन्धाम्बय विह्वलाः तारामूचुर्महाभागे हतो वाली रणाजिरे अंगदं परिरक्षाद्य मन्त्रेण परिणोदया चतुर्द्वारकपाटादीन् बद्ध्वा रक्षामहे पुरीं वानराणां तु राजानम् अंगदं कुरु भामिनी. Lord Shiva said, O Parvati, when the Supreme Soul, who is that? The Supreme Soul? Supreme Soul is that who appears as everyone's soul in their heart. That Sri Ram was, when he had killed Bali, all monkeys were extremely afraid and agitated and ran towards the center of Kishkindha, the town, the fort actually, and said to Tara, oh, the great one. And Tara, even though she is Bali's wife, who is unrighteous, but she is very knowledgeable. She is a great devotee of Lord Narayana. And that's why, because of that, she's got, Tara is supposed to be one of the great, what do you call, Pativratas. One of them is Tara. Like Mandodari was Pativrata, Sita is Pativrata, Tara is also Pativrata. So, here they said to Tara that our king has been killed in the battle. Now we are at your feet, and you have to take care of us and Angad, and alert all the ministers that our king has been killed. And gentle lady, we are closing all the gates of the city. You must make Angad the king of monkeys. So all the monkeys, the chieftains and the generals, they all came, and they said, now quickly, before Ram and Sugriv come in, you anoint Angad as the next king of Kishkindha. And having said this, Nihatam valinam shrutva tara shoka vimurchita atadayat swapanibhyam shiro vakshascha bhurishaha kimangadena rajyena nagarena dhanena va idanimeva nidhanam yasyami patina saha. Hearing that her husband Vali had been killed, immediately, because she was Pativrata, immediately she just fainted there and then due to grief and shock, and she started beating her chest and rolled on the floor, and then she cried that, what have I got to do with Angad, the kingdom, the city and the wealth? Suddenly this is called Vairagya, Kshanik Vairagya or Shmashan Vairagya. Whenever we go to burn someone near and dear, when we go to the cremation ground, we see so many bodies burning, or we see, for one moment we saw the one who was dear to us lying on the not pyre, but on the thing that you take him. And then next moment he is burning, and he's only, you get a pot of ash, and at that time you realize, oh my God, one day I am also going to go through that. One day I will also be lying like this, no life, no breath, and then someone will burn me, and they will also carry my ash, and suddenly you become vairagya, you become dispassionate. You lose, for some moments, you lose interest in everything in life. And you see that with many people whose nears and dears are gone. You don't feel like drinking, you don't feel like eating, you don't feel like talking, you just had enough. Because, so yes, same thing our Tara is going through, and she says, what will I do with Angad? What I have got to do with the kingdom? What do I have to do with the city? What do I have to do with the citizens of the Kishkinda kingdom? And nothing. What do I have to do with the wealth? I don't care. She's totally because of grief, she's talking like this out of dispassion. And she says that idanimeva nidhanam yasyami patina saha, that along with my husband I will also become a sati and I will also give up my life because there is nothing worth living anymore for me. And thinking in this way, ityuktva tvarita tatra rudati mukta murdhaja yayau tarati shokarta yatra bhartru kalevaram patitam balinam drushtva raktai pansubhiravrutam rudati nathanatheti patita tasya padayoh. Saying this, she immediately went to the place where Bali's dead body was lying, and that is her husband's, and seeing his body, she cried even more. And then seeing that Bali's chest was smeared with blood and dust, she immediately fell down at the feet of her husband. "Oh Lord, oh my dear husband," and at his feet, karunam vilapanti sa dadarsa raghunandanam ramamam jahi banena yena vali hatastvaya gacchami patisalokhyam patirmam abhikangshate swargepi na sukham tasya Mam Vina Raghunandana. While she is crying, holding the feet of her husband and lamenting and wailing and crying, and the tears flowing from her eyes, suddenly, while all this is going on, from the corner of her eyes, she saw Sri Ram standing a little bit distance away. First, her focus was only Vali. Now her attention went to Sri Ram. And looking at Sri Ram, she said, "Oh Sri Ram, kill me also with the same arrow that you took out from my husband's chest and with which you killed Bali, so that I can also go where Bali, my husband, has gone." And immediately, Pati Salokya, that I want to go to the same abode where my Pati, my husband, has gone. And he must be waiting for me. And O Raghunandan, O Sri Ram, because he cannot have peace and solace even in heaven if I am not there with him. He needs me to take care of him. Okay? And in this way, this is all because of the, suddenly she loved, she was Pativrata, as I told you. Okay? There is another story of Sati thi na? Sati Savitri. She was also, this is a story. She doesn't come under the Pativrata. But she was so much in love with her husband that when the time came for the husband to die, and suddenly Yamraj came, and she will not leave her husband. She will say no. And eventually Yamraj had to give the body back. That is the power. But it is not coming out of ego. It is coming out of surrender. It is coming out of samarpan. It is coming out of sacrifice. It is coming out of love. See? So here she says, continuing, Patni viyogajam dukkham anubhutam tvaya nagha valine mam prayachhasu patni dana phalam bhavet sugrivatvam sukham rajyam dapitam vali ghatina ramena rumaya sardham bhungshva sapatna varjitam. O Anagha, Anagha means sinless, the one who has got no impurity in him or her. So here she is talking to Sri Ram. She knows Sri Ram is Lord Narayana, Avatar. And therefore she is saying, O Anagha, O sinless one, O faultless one. She is not blaming Sri Ram for killing her husband from behind the tree. She says, O Anagha, O sinless one, O Sri Ram, you have experienced the agonies of separation because some Ravan has taken your wife. I am feeling the same pain because you have taken away my husband. I am not blaming you, but I want to go where he has gone. So please kill me also. Prem. Many times we go to, compared to you guys, we go to many more houses. So many houses. And there have been many cases where either the husband or the wife dies because of old age or disease or whatever, and the other partner, the husband or wife, within 1 week they also go, with 1 week or 1 month, because they cannot stay away from them. Everything was fine with that person, but their life concludes. Therefore, you should send me to the abode where Bali has gone, and by doing this, you will get the reward of sparing a man's wife, a woman. That means you have done something good to a woman who cannot live without her husband. Oh, Sugriv! Then her attention goes to Sugriv. Then she calls out, Sugriv, Tvam Sukham Rajyam Dapitam Vali Ghatina. Now you enjoy. You enjoy the kingdom of Kishkinda, which Sri Ram has now given to you by killing Bali. You enjoy this kinghood, and Sugriv's wife name was Ruma. Tara is the wife of Bali, and Sugriva's wife is Ruma. He says, with Ruma you enjoy, and now there is no one to challenge you, no one to trouble you, no one to ask for the kingdom back from you, because my husband is dead. And in this way, all this is told by Tara in a sarcastic vein to Sugriv, not to Ram, but to Sugriv she is saying it sarcastically. And continuing, Ityevam vilapantim tam taram ramo mahamanaha santvayamasa dayaya tatvajnanopadeshataha kim bhiru shochasi vyartham shokasya vishayam patim patistavayam deho va jivo va vadatatvatah panchatmako jado deha त्वंगमास रुधिरा स्थिमान काल कर्म गुणोत्पन्ना सोप्यास्ते त्यापिते पुरहा. Then when Sri Ram ityevam vilapanti tam taram ramo mahamana, that great Sri Ram, the wise Sri Ram, then came to this lamenting and mourning and in grief, the Tara, and started giving her the what is it? Santvayamasa dayaya. He showed compassion towards her, tried to pacify her, and tattva jnana upadeshataha. He started giving her the knowledge of the truth. Tattva jnana. And what did he say? He says, oh, you timid one, Kim bhiru shochasi vertam. Why are you thinking unnecessarily about death and going to the abode of Bali, blah, blah, blah? Why you are unnecessarily talking like this to Sugriv? I'm adding here, and why you are speaking in this vein? So, your husband is not worthy to be cried and mourned for. Oh, really? Why your husband is not, what did we say? In the first class of Aparoksha Anubhuti, what did we say? Is there anything called death? हम सब यही जीते हैं ना. No death? Yes, death. Is there death? No. Answer is correct, but if I ask her, you know the reasons why no death? Tell me one reason.
Because the soul doesn't die.
Fantastic. Second point. Okay, I'll tell you. But good point. That will make you fearless in life, because you know you will never die. At such a young age, she's saying that. Hey, Anshu, learn something from her. She's happy. Atma, if you think you are the body, a lot of people think we are the body. And when someone dies, what happens? We cremate the body, isn't it? If you don't cremate also, what happens to the body? The space that it is occupying, the earth body, that is the bones, muscles, everything, it goes back to earth. The water element, which is 80% of the body, it goes back to the total waters, it evaporates. The fire which is in your belly, that goes back to the total fire. The air that was occupying space in your body, pran, apan, vyan, udan, saman, udan, pran, apan, vyan, saman, udan. All the 5 airs, they go back to the total airs. I'm talking 5 elements. And the space that this area that this body is occupying, when the body is totally disintegrated, this space also goes back to the total space. So what died? So all the 5 elements came together to make this body. So if I take all the flowers out of this garland, is there a garland? Then when I put all the flowers together, then is there a garland? Yes. So if I take all the 5 elements, space, air, fire, water, earth, out of this the whole creation is made. If I take all these elements and put them in the thread of consciousness, then the body comes about, isn't it? And if I take them out, has the body vanished? Is the body dead, or it has only become unmanifest? Again the elements come together and create another body. So many bodies are getting created every moment. So there is no death of the body. There is only unmanifestation of the body. Now her point, that soul does not die. What does it mean, soul does not die? Then why we say why we said Bali's soul has gone to heaven or Bali's soul went to Saket? In the movies you see the light comes out of the dead person and goes and merges into the Lord. What does it mean? So if we call death means life stops expressing through this body. So that life has left the body. That is called as death, isn't it, for us? So where does that life go?
Into another body.
Into another body. So did it die? No. It just like you tonight when I go to sleep, I'll take out these clothes and tomorrow morning I'll put on new clothes. So I can't say I'm dead. Because the clothes were dirty, I changed them. So because the body was not able to do whatever I wanted to do in life, then I leave this body and the soul goes and takes another body. So soul also doesn't die. If relatively speaking, soul is there. We say there is life in him, life in her, life in her. Every person has a soul, isn't it? Similarly, if we consider ourselves to be the Atma, Atma is the indestructible principle. It is neither born, it can never die, it is always present. And that is your true nature. So Atma also doesn't die. So Atma doesn't die, soul doesn't die, body doesn't die. So the scolding from Ramchandra ji to Tara. What are you talking about? Huh? So this is not only for Tara, it is for us also. Stop living in the fear of death. There is nothing called death. If at all a point comes, Yamraj comes, I was waiting for you, where were you for so long? That should be the attitude. Our attitude should be living 110% in life, facing whatever comes, because that is the only option we have. Not, अब जी के क्या करेंगे जब दिल ही टूट गया, अभी क्या करेंगे? People go into sadness, people go into depression, people go into extended periods of depression in life, years together. Why? Because someone near and dear passed away. People commit suicide because they didn't pass an exam. I know one of my colleagues he was in IIT. We were living in Delhi behind only IIT. our house. And he didn't pass the exam, jumped from the top, finished. Life is about a passing exam. We must seek the higher. When you seek the higher, everything becomes manageable in life. And how do you manage? You don't manage. Then the creation manages. That's a smart way of living. So here, anyway, I'm going into unwanted area. Huh? So your husband is not worthy to be cried upon, to be mourned for. Why do you lament and grieve for him? Think properly and tell me, who is your real husband? Ramchandra ji is challenging Tara, whose husband, the king of Kishkindha, who has defeated Ravan, who has defeated Sahasrabahu, who is the son of Indra, who is one of the most invincible warriors of the planet at that time. He is telling her that who is your real husband? Again, now what I told you, the Atma, body and soul, that's the point coming here. This body or the Jiva, the soul, the Atma, the life-giving force or pure consciousness inside the creature, which resides in it, if this gross body is your husband, then it is made up of 5 gross elements: air, space, air, fire, water, earth. They go back exactly the same. I'm not going to repeat the whole thing. I've already told you. So soul also does not die, body does not die, Atma does not die. Soul goes from one body to the other, body becomes unmanifest and remanifests the elements, and Atma ever remains the same. Whichever way you consider yourself, there is nothing called death. So don't live in the fear of death. His body consists of skin, flesh, blood, and bones, and it has been born out of because of the time, the circumstance, the deeds, the karmas, the samskaras, and the karma phala, and the various qualities that he has is because of what he got as the samskaras, and therefore. And they all appear in various permutations and combinations. And that gross body, that dead body is still lying in front of you. So is that that body, if you say body is my husband, the body is still lying. Take it. Take it. Now he is taking to the next point. Manyase jivamatmanam jivastarhi niramayah न जायते न म्रियते न म्रियते न तिष्ठति न गच्छति न स्त्री पुमान् वा षण्ढो वा जीव सर्वगतो व्ययः एक एवाद्वितीयोऽयम् आकाशवदलेपकः नित्यो ज्ञानमयः शुद्धः समकथं शोकमर्हति. Ramchandra ji is telling her, and on the contrary, if you regard the jiva, the soul, the life-giving principle in the body, the living entity or the conscious principle within the body as your husband, then jiva is eternal. He goes from body to body. He sheds this body, he will take on another body after some time. So that is also, and therefore soul also does not die. It remains steady, it remains unmoving, and in this way, and if you consider him to be the Atma, then Atma is all-pervading. It is one without a second. It never na jayate na mriyate. It is not born. It does not die. Na tishtati na gacchati. Neither it sits in one place nor it goes to anywhere. Soul goes from one body to another. But Atma does not even do that, and in this way, your husband, the Atma, is neither male, na stri, pumanva, shandova, means it's not even a male nor a female, nor a genderless entity, and it is without decay, without an end or beginning, and in this way, but at the same time, it is this Atma, it is matchless, it is without faults, it is without any without any blemishes and attachments. The example given here is that it is like the sky. Sky supports air, fire, water, earth, but whether air, fire, water, earth is there or not there, sky does not get affected. Just how the air, the quality of the air is what? Touch. The quality of fire is what? Touch and heat. Water's quality is what? Touch, heat and taste. And earth's quality is what? Touch or heat or form, because fire gives form also. Form, taste as well as smell. And whether all these are there or not there, the space does not get affected by any of these four. It supports everything. It supports the whole creation. But whether the creation is there or not there, it is not affected. Isn't it? So is, where is another space? There is another space called mind space, isn't it? Is mind space affected by what is going on in your mind? Thoughts are coming, going. Emotions are coming, going. Convictions are happening, and going away. Time is coming, time is going. All a concept of mind only. It's all happening in your mind space. How do you know space, time, objectivity, variety, everything? Only by way of thought. Every thought is coming, staying and going away. But mind is always remaining mind. Mind is the container in which thoughts are coming and going. Space is the container in which the whole creation is getting created, is maintained and is destroying. Every moment it's happening. So that is how your Atma is. That is what your true nature is. But it is not, it is like space, but it is what? It is conscious space. Outside space is inert. But Atma is the conscious space. And where you can, it is not a part of this topic, but how can you catch this conscious space? Between the two thoughts, between the two breaths, you can catch it. Before going to sleep, where your mind is naturally empty, you can catch it. When you wake up, your eyes are not open, but you know you are awake. The world has not entered into your mind yet, or projection has not started. That time you can catch it, that empty space. So, 4 places. Excuse me. And therefore, this Atma is pure and uncorrupted. Then how can it be, if Atma is eternal, Atma is everywhere, body cannot die, soul cannot die, Atma cannot die, then who are you crying for, O Tara? Who are you crying for? When Ramchandraji says, it is very good. When Hiranyakashipu says to his wife, to the wife of his elder brother who was killed by Varaha Avatar, but Hiranyakashipu was identified with his body. He wanted to be immortal with body. Ravana wants to be immortal with body. When they are also very educated, and they also speak the same language sometimes to pacify their nears and dears. But this is called as lip Vedanta, lip knowledge. They are not living it themselves. Their knowledge is only to teach others, but not practice in life. Here, Ramchandraji, even though he is a man, but he is already perfected himself. And after perfection, he got married to perfect wife. Means he got realized before Vishwamitra took him for the program of killing Tadka and Subahu and Marich and Ahalya Udhar. But there Sita is already realized. Two realized masters coming together. No expectations. Only surrender. Only sacrifice. See? So when you are young, perfect yourself. I'm looking at you. Perfect yourself. This is the opportunity. Then automatically you will attract also such a soul or such a person in your life. And it's okay. Marriage, if it is written in your life, then it is good. If it is not written, also it is good. Who are you to decide whether you have to go the path of sannyas or you have to go the path of grahastha? Lord has to decide, not you. And how will Lord decide? He will speak through you. But you will be able to recognize His voice only if you are watching everything in life. You are a sakshi. If you become a jiva who is attached to everything that is going on in the mind, then problem. If you are a sakshi, if the witness of everything going on in your life, then you are available to the voice also. Then you are just allowing the life to unfold, whichever way it takes. And in this way, Tara Vacha, Tara says, after having scolded or spoken firmly to Tara, Tara stops and she says, Taro Vacha, Deho Chitkashtadavadrama, Jivo Nityaschidatmakaha, Sukha Dukkhadi Sambandhaha, Kasya Syadramame Vada. Tara asked, the body is inanimate like a piece of wood, while Jiva, the soul or the Atma, is eternal and conscious. It cannot be destroyed. Then tell me, with what or whom does one have to have the so-called various relationships which cause sorrows and happiness? Such a wonderful question. If everything is eternal, soul is eternal, Atma is eternal, and body only unmanifest, and then with whom am I having relationship? With whom? To whom did I call my husband? If it was not the body, soul, or Atma. Shri Rama Uvacha. This is for all of you. And here he answers. Ahankaradi sambandho yavad dehendriyai saha sansarastava syat atmanastvar vivekinaha mithyaropita sansaro na swayam vinivartate vishyandhyayamanasya swapne mithyagamo yatha. Sri Ram replied that as long as one has the attachment with the body and sense of organs, with the perception of I and me and you and others, where there is duality, I and mine, and the one who says I and mine and me and you, this is called as ahankar. This is called as the ego. And this ego is the jiva, is ignorant of the difference between Atma and the Anatma. So that consciousness which is identified with the body and says, I am the body, and with the body comes, I am the husband of this person, I am the father of this person, I am the brother of this person, and so on. Such a person is the jiva. And this jiva is the one who is incapable or unavailable to the discrimination between the Atma and the Anatma. He is not thinking about what is constant and what is changing. What is constant within you and what is changing within you? Is your body changing all the time? Is your body changing? Yes. You were a baby, now you are 6-year-old, 7-year-old. Your body has not changed. Every moment body is changing. Every moment breath is going in and coming out. So it is changing. Every moment thoughts are coming and thoughts are going. Thoughts are changing. Throughout your life, first you used to play with toys. Now you play with your younger brother and sisters. After some time you will play with your husband or wife. After that you will play with your children. So your concepts are also changing. Everything is changing. But who is the one you are playing? You are also playing with. Oh, you are also knowing that the waking is coming, then going away. Dream is coming and going away. Sleep is coming and going away. They are also changing. Then what is that which is not changing? Tell me.
So,
Soul is not changing. Okay. Atma is not changing. There is some witness, no? Sakshi, who knows. Right now, many of you are nodding. So who is this? So is the waker nodding? It cannot be. At this moment, Sakshi is there. Who knows? Yeah, the list that I put in front of you, you recognize. Hi, yes. Body is changing. I have known that. I was there when the body was changing. Body has gone through the change, but I have been always the same, who's knowing all the changes. The breath is coming and going. I am knowing all the changes that the breath is coming and going. I am knowing all the thoughts coming and going. I am knowing all the memories coming and going. I am knowing all the convictions coming and going from childhood till now. That one who knows all the changes is the unchanging principle. That is the Atma. That is the witness consciousness. Recognize yourself to be that. So here the Lord is telling that this jiva, this soul, is unable. Which is the soul? Which comes and goes from one body to another. Why he goes from one body to another? Because he felt this body is there, now this body is not functioning, now I need another body. So it wants another body. What is he actually? He is the Atma, but behaving like a soul, just like you are a man or a woman, but you forget you are a man and woman. You behave like you are a husband and a wife. You behave like mother and father. You behave like brother and sister. The roles come and go. Man does not come and go. You are standing here for the wife comes in front of you, the husband comes out. The mother comes in front of you or speaks to you, the son comes out. The child demands your attention, the father comes out. Roles are different. Man is not different. Similarly, all the waking, dream, deep sleep coming and going, thoughts coming and going, breath coming and going, body coming and going. This is known by someone. Who is that? Is that the soul? No, it cannot be the soul because he is bloody attached to the body. If he is attached to the body, how can he see the change in the body? It is the Atma or the Sakshi, and that you are. And in this way, the world, and this results in because of non-recognition that you are the Sakshi Chaitanya or witnessing consciousness or the Atma, the unchanging principle. Just like waves are coming and going, but water remains the water, no? Water remains water. Similarly, roles are coming and going. Body, man or woman remain the same. Similarly, body also comes and goes, but Atma remains the same. So here he says, the result in relationship, this non-recognition of Atma. If you remain a soul, yes, soul goes from one body to the other, but it is going from one body to another only because it has got a memory that I was a body. If while living you can remove this memory out of your mind that you are not the body, you are the conscious principle, the Atma, then so for such a person there is no next birth after this life. This results in, and this is the reason, not recognizing yourself to be the Atma results in relationships and attachments and which result in sorrows. If something is taken away from you, if someone is taken away from you, you feel the grief and sorrow and lament. And this is the reason the Lord is giving to Tara. And therefore he says, the world has been falsely imposed on the Atma, and the Atma has as if identified with the changing world. So you are actually Atma. Atma is everything and everywhere. There is nothing apart from Atma. Everywhere there is water. Everywhere there is water. When you touch a wave, you are touching water. You taste the wave, you are tasting water. You feel the wave, you are feeling water. Then why you are not calling it water? Why you call it wave? Question. Because your attention is on the name and form. Nama Rupa. So where is your attention? On the Nama Rupa, your name and form. My name is blah blah blah, and I am 167 centimeters tall. I've got 80 kgs of weight. Load I am carrying. I am the son of this person, and I want to live for so many years more, and I got insurance for taking care of that. And the children are complaining, this fellow doesn't die. See, this is the attachment. Of attachment to what? That which does not exist. What exists? Only Atma exists. Then whatever is changing, is it real? No. The waves are coming and going, are they real? No. Only water is real. Ornaments are getting melted and you take the bracelet, melt it and make it into a necklace. Then take the same necklace and melt it and make it into a pile. Forms are changing, but gold is the same. Similarly, you were you were child, you were teenage, you are youth, you are grown up, you are married, you are getting now 60, 61, 70, 71, 72. Your age is growing. Something is changing, body is changing. But what is this body? It's only an imagination on the consciousness. It's a superimposition on the consciousness. Can you remove the superimposition? You cannot. Can you remove the wave from the water? Did you create the wave on the water? No, it's a natural phenomena. Water's glory is to express as waves. So you enjoy when there is no waves, and you enjoy when there are waves. See? So same way, recognize that you are the unchanging principle, the consciousness, and on that consciousness, the space-time objectivity, or this body with all its limbs and functionings, they have been imagined. I'll give you, many times I give this example. If it helps you, you see. How do you know this world? See, we live on, are you all able to sit on this ground because of the principle of gravity? Right? Is it a general principle applicable for everyone? Correct or not? Yes. Are you living because you are breathing? Yes. Are you also living because there is life expressing through you, or are you a dead person right now? It's general for everyone, no? So now general principle, how you interact with the world. How do you know this table? You know, this is a table. Then what is the next statement that comes to your mind? I know this is a table. And the third statement, I am not the table. That's why I am able to talk about it. Isn't it? This is Shivani. I know this is Shivani. I am not Shivani. Correct? So every object must have a name and form. Every object, laptop, camera, this, every one of you, light, this light, walls, everything in this creation. I know this is creation, I know this is creation, I am not creation. Correct? This is general principle. Agree? Now come to your body. What is the rule? This is the
Body.
second one. I know this is the body. What should be the third statement?
I am not.
I am not the body. But how do you live? I am the body on everybody. Totally contrary. So everywhere you apply one rule. But when it comes to this body, which is also part of this creation, you don't apply the same rule. You are being mischievous here. See? है ना मजेदार? Correct your angle of approach. That is why we come to satsang. So here he is saying it is in this way, this misconception, till this misconception is not removed that you are the body. If you think you are the body, you will be attached to the other body. If you are the body, you will have relationship with somebody or the other. If you are the body, you will cry for another body. And so on. So until and unless this misconception that I am the body is not removed, till then crying, grief, all that is going on. But once you recognize that you are the conscious principle, you are the Atma, with the moment that clicks by grace of God, that very moment, all grief, all lamentation, all pain disappears in toto. It is similar to the case where a person who constantly thinks about the pleasure of the sense organs or about his or the pluralistic world dreams of it while asleep, but these dreams are nothing but an illusion, image, mirage, or deception. Now tell me, you all dream? Most of you dream? In the dream, do you have nobody has seen their body in the dream, but you have all seen or your wife, your parents, your children, your house, your car, your whatever, wherever you have been traveling in the dream. Do you ever go back to the same wife or same husband after every night? Do you? Why? When you are dreaming, do you think this is, while dreaming, do you think it is a dream going on? Or when you are dreaming, it actually seems real at that time? Which one?
You think it's real?
You think it's real. But after the dream is broken, after you wake up, then you say it was a dream, isn't it? And after you say it was a dream, can you remember even the face of your child or your wife after you wake up? Can't. Maybe after 2 seconds, 3 seconds, it vanishes away completely. And in the waking, we collect all the photographs and put it on the TV and keep seeing them again and again, again and again, again and again, again and again. You are creating data for next life. You are creating data for next life. So recognize that you are the Atma, and with being that Atma, you live in this world. So here he says, well, it is enough here. If I keep going ahead, you are going to get tired. So the knowledge continues to Tara, and she becomes realized. She was a Pativrata, and now she will become wise. She is the wise Tara there hereafter, after this discourse of Ram. And she leaves all her pain, all her grief, all her lamentation, and she becomes advisor to Sugriv. And what happens after that, you can watch on the YouTube. Somewhere in India this will continue somewhere. If not in Melbourne, it will continue. We'll stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. बोलो सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय, सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय, गंगा मैया की जय, जमुना महारानी की जय, आज के आनंद की जय। नमः पार्वती पतये, हर हर महादेव। भवानी देवी की जय. Very nice, very nice.
Very nice.
Anyone else? Anyone else? You sing? कोई नहीं. No? Last time also you didn't sing.
No, sir.
It was also September.
कौन कौन वन बाय
Ah.